Let's start here first. President Cyril Ramaphosa is hosting Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta at the Union Buildings this morning, and he's currently on a state visit to the country. My colleague Masego Rahlaga is in Pretoria and joins us now for the very latest. Masego, good morning to you. We understand, of course, that very official, state visit from Uhuru Kenyatta, the Kenyan President, being imminent. But we know why or what will be on the agenda when he meets his counterpart, Cyril Ramaphosa.
Good morning, Dumelo. Well, a lot will be discussed by the two heads of state this morning, Dumelo. We know that there were videos circulating showing President Uhuru Kenyatta arriving at the Waterkloof Air Force Base yesterday. So he arrived yesterday and he's supposed to leave sometime tomorrow. So a lot is going to be discussed by the two presidents, but I'll discuss that with the professor that I'm with from UNISA, Professor Dirk Coetzee. For now, I just wanted to show you, Dumelo, that there are last-minute preparations for the different ministers who will be here accompanying the president, including, for instance, Minister of Public Enterprises Pravin Gordhan. We're expecting him to also descend here. We see that, because of the heavy rain last night into the early hours of this morning, the red carpet is wet. So there are people busy preparing that and making sure that when the officials arrive, they do not slip, of course. But, I do have a guest with me, Professor Dirk Coetzee. He is a professor of politics at the University of South Africa, and he woke up with us very early this morning. And Dumelo, I don't know about you, most of the time when I buy anything from Kenya, it's usually just the coffee. So I just want to ask you, Professor, the bilateral relationship between ourselves and Kenya, the type of business we do, it seems South Africa has more business there than they do here.
Yes, certainly. The trade relationship or the trade balance is very much in favor of South Africa. There's around about 60 South African companies there, but a lot of exports are also going from South Africa to Kenya. And in that regard, Kenya is the biggest trade partner with South Africa outside SADC. So it's a very important spot, economic and business spot for South Africa.
And Prof, I've been to Kenya and I went to Nairobi and then Mombasa. The traffic there is quite appalling. The roads are also quite appalling. This is the plight of many African countries. We're not special. But one of the things that will be happening today between the two statesmen or heads of states as well as Minister Pravin Gordhan is to show them a PRASA or Transnet rather, railway and a Transnet infrastructure. Tell us more a bit about that. Maybe it'll help Kenya with their infrastructure when it comes to transport?
Yes, they are going to Kuduspoort, not far from here, which is the engineering center of the railways. There they produce some of the coaches, and I think what they have in mind is that they want to develop much more of a railway infrastructure in Kenya. It seems as it is part of the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative. They concentrate very much on the railway between Mombasa and Nairobi, which is a very old one, but it is a very key infrastructural aspect of the Kenyan economy as well as tourism and so on. So my suspicion is that he wants to see what's available in South Africa. It's obviously much cheaper than to buy it from other parts of the world, as well as it is much closer to them. And it improves and the intra-African trade relations. That's a priority for all of them.
But encountered each other before, and it was quite interesting because back then in 2008 the president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, a politician then, but it's quite interesting that today they'll have to smile at each other.
Yes, that was at the time of the electoral violence in Kenya after the election, and President Ramaphosa was in line to become part of the mediation team that was supposed to deal with this matter. And then President Kenyatta refused that he should be part of it because he was regarded as a person then still in business with too many business interests in Kenya, and which could have made him biased. But it's ironic that today they are on an equal level as heads of state, as presidents, going to talk about cooperation.
Professor Dirk Coetzee, thank you very much for your time. Well, Tumelo, that's quite interesting, interesting facts about South Africa and Kenya. We know that we are the biggest economy in the SADC region, and they are the biggest economy in East Africa. But of course, the COVID-19 pandemic did hit both economies quite hard. So the heads of state are expected to talk about at least tourism and other industries, that could improve both economies.
Yeah, quite an important conversation to take place. But I mean, that woover just sound behind you. Masego, why are the weather gods doing this to President Uhuru Kenyatta and Cyril Ramaphosa? I mean, I can literally hear that woover running wild to make sure that this is a success. But you know what? We'll let, of course, the good.
Well, listen, in our culture, the both of us, we believe that kipula tamiru, right? It's blessings. So
it's blessings.
Let's look at it that way.
Let's look at it that way. Let's look at it that way. You're absolutely right. So while we let the hoover do its work, we'll wait for President Cyril Ramaphosa and Uhuru Kenyatta to, of course, start and commence with their conversation. Thank you there, Masego Rahlaga, out in Tshwane at the Union Buildings, and that, just states a visit from Kenya, quite important, just in terms of leveraging on that economic, hub and economic hub, of course, and work that, of course, the two countries can do, as we've heard there from Professor Dirk. So we'll leave it, of course, to that, and we'll update you as the day progresses.